I have been pacing around my living room all morning because the anticipation for this season is finally reaching a boiling point. The NFL just dropped the 2026 training camp dates, and it feels like the atmosphere surrounding the Cleveland Browns is about to shift in a major way. There is a specific situation brewing behind the scenes that has me more anxious than excited for once. The stakes for this franchise have never been higher, and the internal pressure is mounting by the second. If you are as invested in this team as I am, please hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city in the comments below. Let us get into it. The official 2026 training camp dates have finally dropped, and for us, this means the most chaotic quarterback battle in the NFL is officially underway. We are looking at a four-man room featuring Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, and Taylon Green, all fighting for the right to lead this franchise. Watson arrived years ago as our massive investment meant to anchor the position, but injuries and inconsistent play have left his tenure defined by turbulence rather than the stability we crave. Now, Shedeur Sanders, our talented second-year passer, has surged to split first-team reps after a promising spring session. Here is where it gets interesting, as head coach Todd Monken confirmed this week that absolutely nothing is settled, and the starting job remains wide open. And honestly, the tension is palpable because we have spent seasons waiting for this position to stabilize. The team announced the full camp schedule this week, and the intensity of this competition hit us hard because our entire 2026 outlook depends on who emerges from this scramble. Let's be real, the fan base is completely divided between sticking with the veteran pedigree of Watson or gambling on the rapid ascent of Sanders. That matters because the ripple effects involve potential trade assets and massive salary cap implications that could reshape our roster before the season starts. Now here's the thing. We are tired of the revolving door, and every single snap in camp feels like a referendum on our future. We know what it feels like to watch this team struggle through uncertainty, so seeing legitimate pressure on our starters at least suggests the coaching staff is serious about winning. If we get this call right, we could finally contend in the AFC North, but we all know the sting of a wrong decision. Here we go, Brownies. This high-stakes standoff traced back to the massive 2022 acquisition of Deshaun Watson, a move that saddled this team with an unprecedented $230 million fully guaranteed contract. Watson has struggled with chronic shoulder issues and inconsistent play, appearing in only 19 games over his first 3 seasons here. That matters because the front office, currently navigating a shrinking championship window, grew restless watching the offense stall, prompting them to draft Shedeur Sanders last year despite the existing financial commitment. Let's be real, we have seen this script before with the 2017 transition from RGIC to Deshaun Kaiser, which resulted in a winless disaster that left us scarred. Behind closed doors, the staff is likely wrestling with the sunken cost fallacy. They desperately want the veteran to succeed to justify their massive investment, but Sanders represents a cheaper, younger alternative with higher upside. Here is where it gets interesting, as league sources suggest the brass is torn between loyalty to the veteran's record and the undeniable energy Sanders provides in the huddle. And honestly, they know that keeping a fractured locker room together while juggling 2 starters is a recipe for internal chaos. With Sanders showing flashes of brilliance in limited duty, the coaching staff is terrified of benching their franchise quarterback too soon, yet they cannot ignore the inefficiency that plagued our drives last year. Now, here's the thing. This competition is ultimately a referendum on the entire regime. If the staff sticks with a regressing Watson and it fails, the entire front office will likely be looking for new jobs by January. They are betting their careers on the hope that competition will spark greatness rather than division. But as we know, the path to recovery for the Browns is rarely simple. We just need to pray the right signal caller emerges before the season opener. Here we go, Brownies. As Cleveland Browns fans, we know this quarterback battle is the defining narrative of our 2026 campaign. That matters because the lingering uncertainty over who starts under center impacts everything from salary cap allocation to the identity of our locker room culture. With 4 signal callers fighting for space, the front office is looking at a massive roster crunch that could force an unexpected trade if one of these guys separates himself from the pack. That immediate move would free up precious capital or bring in veteran help at other positions of need. And honestly, the impact stretches far beyond our training facility. Let's be real, this choice dictates our readiness for a brutal early schedule, including a pivotal showdown against Robert Saleh's Tennessee Titans and their retooled defense. If we enter that game without a solidified rhythm, we risk falling behind in a cutthroat AFC North race where every single possession counts. Now, here's the thing. This decision dictates our ceiling against powerhouses like the Buffalo Bills under Joe Brady or a scrappy Patriots squad led by Mike Vrabel. We are aiming for a division title, but our playoff chances hinge entirely on having a quarterback who can handle the complex blitz schemes these top-tier coaches are dialing up. Here is where it gets interesting because a veteran like Watson might survive the pressure better than a sophomore like Sanders. Yet the long-term upside of a young gun could be our ticket to finally overtaking Baltimore and Cincinnati. The stakes are high for everyone involved, from the play callers to the guys fighting for a roster spot. We have waited long enough for sustained stability, and as we count down to the first snap of the season, we are all ready to shout, "Here we go, Brownies," as our franchise finally picks its leader and takes that next big step. On one side, a growing faction of our fan base argues that the Browns should commit to Shedeur Sanders immediately, because his upside and fresh mobility offer a long-term identity we have lacked for decades. Keeping the veteran Watson in place feels like clinging to a sunk cost, while Sanders represents a hungry, modern playmaker who can revitalize this offense under Todd Monken. But on the other side, the risk of abandoning a proven veteran before he faces live contact is massive. Watson possesses deep playoff experience and the physical toughness to survive the AFC North wars, a grit that a second-year player simply has not demonstrated yet. Here's where it gets interesting, as league insiders are split on our situation. While national pundits keep referencing the high-pressure environment in Cleveland, beat writers from teams like the Tennessee Titans, where GM Mike Borgonzi has been watching our roster moves closely, suggest we are currently the most unpredictable team in the league. Some analysts even hint that if Sanders wins the job, a trade market for Watson could open up quickly with desperate teams. That matters because this roster is built to win right now, not to undergo a total rebuild. Now here's the thing, we cannot afford to botch this evaluation or we lose another year of our prime talent. Let's be real, splitting reps is necessary for fairness, but detrimental to timing and chemistry. Personally, I think we have to hand the keys to Sanders by the second preseason game if Watson does not look significantly sharper in live padded drills. We are desperate for consistency, and if the younger guy has the hot hand, we cannot let ego dictate our starting lineup. The time for caution ended in May. Here we go, Brownies. It is officially time to find our leader and start winning football games. As we look at the bigger picture, this quarterback battle determines the identity of the Cleveland Browns for the next several seasons. If the team settles this correctly, we finally have the stability required to challenge the AFC North powerhouses, but failing to land on the right signal caller could force a complete rebuild of the offensive scheme. And honestly, as Cleveland Browns fans, we should feel cautiously optimistic heading into this season. The reason for our excitement is simple. For the first time in ages, we have genuine internal competition driving performance rather than a stagnant, unproven starter holding the spot by default. Let's be real. Having 4 capable arms fighting for every single rep elevates the standard for every player on the roster. That matters because a competitive locker room fosters accountability, which is exactly what we have lacked in previous autumns. Now here's the thing. We are witnessing a pivotal shift where meritocracy finally outweighs salary cap optics. Whether it is the veteran savvy of Watson or the explosive upside of Sanders, the winner will define our championship window. Here's where it gets interesting, as the coaching staff under Monken seems genuinely committed to letting the best man play. This transparency is refreshing, but it puts immense pressure on the front office to back the winner fully. We need to decide who gives us the best chance to win when the stakes are highest, not just who looks good during comfortable afternoon drills. So, who do you think earns the starting job by the end of our final preseason game? The proven veteran Watson or the rising star Shedeur Sanders? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Here we go, Brownies. I'll see you in the next one.